This is IBM Museum, and we have another unboxing to do. I'm going to get flipped around here. I'll probably leave up the internal webcam. But this is something that came in today. And I've had interacted with the seller actually quite a bit over a couple of weeks. And at the as we get this unboxed, I'm going to go through and talk about an aspect that I'm going to start to focus on a little bit more. And I have to make sure I don't bump any cameras. I think I've masked out addresses. Okay, and we have styrofoam peanuts in here. In fact, what I'll do, just to kind of show that, and there is a recent discussion on one of the Facebook groups that this is not really the way to send a system. There's cardboard in there just to kind of keep the and then even, as you can see, kind of blocks of foam. It just looks like a real just whatever pieces that were available to go through and to pack this with. And I don't want to get, and these are the starchy peanuts, which are good for the environment, and good for packing some stuff, but not systems like this is. I don't want to get peanuts everywhere, but it's probably going to be a battle that I can't win. At least these blocks, I mean, they're not even all that big, are enough to where I can move them out of the way to get a handhold, and we can go right side up. Okay. And I'm going to just come down at my feet. I don't think there's anything on. It's funny that they went through and of course they didn't have a need for it. I as I said, I went through and interacted with them. I can throw the invoice off the side with the address information. But I sent them this. I actually mailed them this. I'd done another transaction and I went through and it does look, it's just painter's tape on the outside of this. It does look like they opened it up because it was a diskette that I sent of the system information tool. And I guess I could go better there to the camera. That to go through and to run that on the system to figure out what the insides were, because this case is locked. And so I'm just going to go through. There's some other kind of blocks in there as well. And I'm just going to get this without bumping any cameras. I'm going to get this off to the side and and I was really worried. They left the cable connected on the back, and that is kind of bad because the that really protrudes, and it's not a it just doesn't have the ability to take a lot of shock. I mean, if you had a hit to that, I guess I may have to adjust my, let's see, let's go back to, let's see if we can go back to the other webcam, and we'll get it out of the bag. Yeah, on the fan bay loose to drive the and see, that's unlocked, but that could have come down during the shipping. Okay, we'll get this bag out of here. So let me show the back of that. So, and this is kind of edge on for the webcam, but this is rigid. I mean, if this in the package got knocked around, I mean, that could break something. And this is just a basically a cable that goes through and routes to this breakout panel on the back. Let me get sitting down. And so that could have been some bad news if that would have hit that. I'm sure it got stressed. I mean, it goes through and flexes. I thought they had keys in the back, but I'll have to check the bag because we'll flip this thing all the way around. Okay, so the case lock, and I'll have to find out if I've got any barrel keys to fit. The case is locked, and that's why I sent the software to go through and to try and determine, because they were able to get the system to boot. The diskette drive assembly did work, but after they received the diskette that I sent, it stopped booting. And let's go through. I realize how this. Yeah, as soon as I take my hands off the tripod, then it moves around. Because I'm looking to go through, and it's almost visible on that screen there, but this is a 7546, and I guess that's a clear panel for the front. They were supposed to have keys for the drive bay access. Okay, I heard. Okay, I'm hearing. Yeah. So at least they didn't have. Keys in the bay that got all tweaked out. You know, at least they didn't send it. And it's 2 keys for the. I mean, if they had sent it like that, that'd have been really bad, because it probably would have tweaked the key and broken the door or whatever else. This fan, I mean, it looks like that's undamaged. There's and normally you would have a foam in there to catch dust, but this is real typical setup of the IBM Industrial systems of this style. I've got, like I said, this is a 7546. We'll get looking at the back of this as well. And I have a 7541 that's, and normally in IBM nomenclature for a lot of this, if they have a model that ends in a industrial model that ends in a 1 or a 2, it's the 1 is the desktop model. So 7541 would be the desktop model. 7542 is the rack mount model of the same system. And this looks like a, I don't see any mounting ears on it. And it does have at least the better rubber feet on the bottom that haven't degraded. And in that case, and I may have to look at how we get into that. But this is actually based on the my 7541 is based on a Model 50 PS2 Model 50Z planer. This one is actually based on an 8557, and we discovered that basically with the single DB25 port there, serial port at the planar level. And then it goes through and it has this ribbon cable that goes up to the breakout panel. And I can't think of a reason otherwise that this would go up to the breakout panel, with the exception that it might be a security, an encoded dongle for the parallel port for the software that this would run on this adapter. This is a multi-serial adapter here, and I wasn't even able to figure out what type of adapter that was. The software, when it would be run, would give me the adapter ID. And this is probably stock for the, or, I mean, it'd be real easy for a company to come up with a breakout panel that used the back screws, metal screws, to come out with their breakout panel. Put those, and they're a little bit ridged so they won't roll. But it just goes through, and on this breakout box, it goes to a PCB and then has connections for the serial port. And those should be ultimately, see, this is effectively seven ports, serial ports, when this big plug should supply 8 COM ports to it, but it does have one that's not populated and has the, and see, like I'm saying, that might be some security bit setting or something else that they have for this, because it looks like there's a couple dip chips on the other side. And I'll go through at some point and open this up when I actually am able to open up the case as well. And of course, with it locked, normally all you'd have to do is undo these two screws on a Model 57 or 77, and with the lock on the side, I'll have to come up with how I'm going to go through and unlock that or bypass. I would really hate to have to drill it out, but after I sent the diskette, and they were going to run the system information tool to figure out what the planer had to it. I wasn't sure at that point whether it was based on the 9557 or the 8557, which would be a difference in CPU. And for this being the 85, based on the 8557, yeah, they have. I guess I could have shown that little silver label. It just says it's got a model number, a serial number, and it's a revision A, and then it's got a date of 9/28/92. So we're talking just almost 29 years from when that breakout panel was done. And so ultimately this is probably going to be based on the 386SX 20 megahertz or 386 SLC 20 megahertz. And it does have ability for a processor, a CPU daughter card upgrade in there, but I'll probably go through and see if I can. I may even swap a planer in there and see if I can. I have an interest in that multi-serial adapter too, and there's some software that's on this. But after they went to run the diskette, it just wouldn't power up, and so I ultimately got the system at a reduced price from what they're selling it. Thankfully, much reduced level from what they were selling it as, and effectively a good price for what is to this unit, what I can do with it. But I've got to go through, and even I've got to determine whether, yeah, this is going to be just shy of 20 minutes right now. But, and I'll probably do it in a different video. We've got to start figuring out what exactly is to these power supplies, because I do have my 9557 over here that's doing development work, including that WinSit, and this power supply just quit on me. And granted, yeah, this one here is dirty, but it I've got the tool to go through and to the security bit to go through and open this up. And as I say, probably in another video, I'll go through and I can just to get a look inside and see if there's just, you know, something as simple as a fuse that this could be. But these power supplies and their Magnatech manufacturer, they're known to go through and fail. And I mean, and there's probably some modern equivalents that could be go through and put in place of that. In fact, I've got the MUL 56 and 76 power supplies off to the side. The smaller case, that's the same effective thing, but these are effectively an always-on power supply as well. And so I made the mistake of leaving my 9557 plugged in. I probably could have gone through and unplugged it, and not anything like electrical storms or anything like that, but it quit from that. So we've got to get to the point where we start investigating these power supplies. I'm going to go through. I'm actually going to clip my mic on there, and I'm going to the plastic bag that I just pulled off of that case, and that's different. This even has a, and this is just the box that I have them in. I've got two of them here, and I did have a MUL 56 that I was also using this for development of software, and it quit on me too. But that's a smaller power supply, same, I mean, a little bit less connections. 2 drive connections, and these go to the planer. But I need to open up that one as well to figure out what the common failure points are, to where we can go through and get those working. With the mounting I did have on the microphone, I hope that all that was heard. I'll go through and check it out, but that's one thing we got to do, just to get to where these systems don't quit on us. And I'll be going through, and once I open up the case, of course, I'll have to go through and work on that power supply, just go through and swap it out. But it's just getting to be a more a more something that occurs more and more now. So it needs a solution. But if you enjoyed this unboxing and a little look at the power supplies later on, click on that like button. You enjoyed the video, and by all means subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Invite your friends to subscribe to my channel as well. I need to grow in subscribers. And I mean, I'm probably getting close to 600 subscribers, which is grand, but that needs to go higher. But this is IBM Museum. That's all I have for now. Thank you.